So we holding people down and doing whatever? Get off me. Dead ass. That's how I felt about this episode. But anyways, hi, my name is Trey Francis. I am a screenwriter and an actor. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Also, if you like this content, please leave a like down below and let's, talk some of this stuff out in the comments down below. I've never said this before, but I always leave some questions in the drop down box. So if you ever look in the drop down box, you will see some questions there that you can use to let's have some open dialogue about what we watch in this series. However, if you don't look there, I'll try to ask questions throughout the video so that hey, this is what I can go and hey, you know. But anyways, let's get into this video. So this is a recap / review of I May Destroy You Season 1 Episode 4. We are catching up because like I told you guys in the last video, I was sick. I was hella sick. I was out of it. I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't great. I don't know if you can hear some stuff in my voice, but it was all up in there. I couldn't talk. Literally, I could not talk. Couldn't talk. So it was a whole mess. It wasn't COVID. However, so anyways, let's get into this video. So at the beginning of this video, we see the opening images of Arabella. Bella, she's in therapy. So she's talking to her therapist. Her therapist is trying to get her to open up and to kind of talk about what happened to her. However, as we've seen in prior episodes, Bella does not want to associate this necessarily with her. And her main thing is she's just trying to move on. She's asking her therapist, hey, I need focus. What can you give me to focus? Because I have a book that's due any day now. They out here asking me for this book, for this rough draft. They want to make sure that they actually invested in the right person, right? Because she had success with her first book. We've seen her walking down the street. People know her. Hey, can we strike gold again? That's all the agency is concerned about. They're actually the ones who are paying for this her therapy with her therapist, and they've actually now assigned her. We find out in this scene that they've assigned her sort of like a writing buddy, like a person to sort of bounce her ideas off of, someone to sort of help her streamline her thoughts so that we can actually get a coherent book. Because that first book she turned in on the first episode, that was trash. That was garbage. That was nonsense. So, hey, you need supervision. So this is what we're going to do for you. So they've brought in Zane. Zane is this guy's name. So that's what we're going to call him because that's his character's name. So anyways, so as she's asking the therapist, hey, what can I do? Because I just need to focus. The therapist kind of gives her some things, adult coloring books, you can paint with some friends, you can, meditate, words of affirmations, whatever, some of these things she kind of gives her, Bella, so that Bella just wants to get through the day. That's all Bella is concerned about. So that's what we're trying to help her do. So on the other end of things, Kwame, one of her best friends, he's on the hunt for some good. So he meets up with this guy. He's at the grocery store with his grandmother, but he's talking to this guy, and the guy is like, hey, I'm in the middle stall. Come up in here and do something to my something. And basically give me some head. So that's what Kwame goes in there to do. He swishes his mouth out with some water when he finishes, and he goes back out there. He's in his grandmother's face. Now, I don't know I already know I couldn't do that. I would be embarrassed. So that's not something that I would do, but this is what Kwame doing, so let's just stick with that. So then we see Arabella and Terry, her best girlfriend, right? They're in Kwame's class. Kwame does like this hip hop sort of workout session with them. He's an instructor, right? And so Arabella, she's very focused. She's very just kind of trying to clear her mind, because remember, she told her therapist, hey, you know what helps me is me not being by myself. What helps me is keeping a lot of people around, because it keeps the thoughts out, right? So as they finish up, Arabella falls to the ground. They're taking like a little break. She gets like a flashback again of the guy raping her. And at the same time, this guy comes into, not that same guy, but a different guy comes in. And I'm going to call him Guy only because, let's call him X. Let's call him X because he's someone from Kwame's past. So X walks in, right? And basically, we kind of get the sense that is he likes Kwame. However, he's not comfortable with like his own sexuality or kind of understanding what is going on with him, or he's ashamed, whatever, right? We kind of get that sense. So Kwame's like, hey, you know what? I got 30 more minutes in here, but after this, let's go kick it. Let's go do something, right? So after the class, we see Kwame and X walking down the street, and X can't even utter the words like gay. Like he can't get that out. Gay man. He can't get that out. And Kwame's like, say it. Like there's nothing wrong with it. I'm a gay man. Like you can say it. And and basically the guy wants to see Kwame. He wants to try to do something because he's never had sex with a guy before, and so he kind of wants to explore that side of him. Kwame's like, do you think you're ready? He's like, he's not 100% sure, but he says he ain't got nothing to be afraid of. So Kwame is like, okay, like, well, we both don't have our own place where we could do something right now, so how about we see about someone who can host us? And so the guy's like, bet, like I'm down. So Kwame is like, oh, okay, I'll find somebody and I'll hit you up later, right? So then we see so now Bella is meeting up with her assigned writing partner. There we go. She meets up with him, Zane, right? So Bella and Zane, they're in this coffee shop or whatever the case may be, and there are a lot of different things that is triggering for Bella in this coffee shop. The waitress bringing her a glass with something in it, and she looks across the way, and there's a guy who appears to be with his girlfriend, and he's like rubbing on her legs, and that's triggering for Bella. And so and it's reminiscent of the attack that happened, the premeditated, if you will, attack that happened to her some while ago. And so for her, she's like, we gotta cancel this shit. She's like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. I can't do this in here because everything in this is reminding me of this. And like I said, this guy is a suits. Like he seems to be a person that is a part of the entertainment industry who has who violated Bella in this way. And so we still haven't found out exactly who this person is, but we always see him. His hair looks well manicured. He's wearing like this button up, he's well kept. However, he's disgusting, right? So Bella gets up out of there, and as Bella's headed home on the bus, we see her. She starts to cry, and she has all the stuff that the therapist told her to get, but none of it seems to work, right? None of it seems to keep this guy out of her head. Like he's still there, and Bella's like, I just want to focus. Like I just want this to be beyond me, because the thing about when someone does something like this to you, the trauma relives over and over. It's not just that it happened that one time, because now you're living with that every single day. The imagery is back, right? The attack is back in your head. It's ever present, and so you literally can't even get away from what happened to you. And it takes a long time. It takes therapy. It takes a lot to kind of remove yourself from that place, but it's difficult. And she's showing the reality of how difficult something like this can be on people who have gone through this. And a lot of us have been through a situation like this, and it is difficult and it is hard, and it can take years, right? And then depression kicks in. There's a lot of different things, right? And so yeah, this is very much so a true depiction, right, of what someone may go through after being attacked. And so she gets up out of there, and she goes back to her place, and you see her kind of just sitting there. She's trying to meditate, she's trying to focus, and then she hears a knock at the door. The knock at the door is none other than Zane. So Zane comes in, and she starts talking to him about her book, and he kind of seems disinterested in some way. And so then there starts to be like this little flirtation that's going on, because she's kind of asking him about what he does. He went to Cambridge, and or not what he does, but like his background, like where did he go to school, and yada yada yada, how did he become a writer, stuff like this. And she's intrigued, right? She's intrigued by what she's hearing from him. So then we jump over to Kwame. So Kwame he set up the things, right? He got everything set up with the host. So I'm just gonna call him host, because I looked up his name. I do my research. However, his name was not anywhere that I could see. At least so yeah, I couldn't find it. So the host of this, they go to the host the host apartment, right? And as you knock on the door, the guy X is like, "Hey, like, what am I supposed to do?" And Kwame's like, you ain't gonna do nothing except watch us. Like, we're gonna do all of this. You're gonna stand there and watch us because for whatever reason, we really don't get the reason, and I'm kind of confused by the reason. However, he's telling X not to join. At this point, X kind of steps up to Kwame and he kisses him, and for what I believe is the first time. And I guess sort of trying to say, like, I'm in this, I'm ready, I can do this, right? So the host comes, opens up the door, and he invites them in, and then we jump back over to Bella and Zane. So as I said in there, Bella's basically, like I said before, Bella's very much so a free spirit. She's very much so, I'm going to go after what I want. I like you. You like me. Let's do this, right? So the guy's like, yep, that's basically what I've been thinking about this whole time. And as they headed towards her room, Bella's just like, how come you're not interested in my book? And he tells her, because you're not interested in it, which sucks for Bella to hear, because I believe since she was a serious enough writer to write her first book, this one would also come more easily if this attack didn't happen in between the interim, right, between both of the writing of both of her books. So I think that's the main difference, right? And so now all of these different things that she's been doing, like the drugs and stuff like this, they're coping mechanisms. They're things to sort of take her mind, because when you're in that kind of space, when you're drunk, you're intoxicated, you're high, your brain goes somewhere else. So if your brain is somewhere else, then you know what? You're not thinking about this attack that happened to you. So we get the reason behind why she's doing what she's doing. And I think it was the last episode, what's his face had said something, Biagio, maybe this was like the second, no, it was the last episode. Biagio said something, it was a throwback episode, right? He said something about like, hey, you need to stop, and like, he don't understand why she's doing it, right? Right. So then, so Bella and Zane, they go in her room, they start undressing, she whips out the condom, because he's talking about he left his downstairs in the car or whatever it is. She's like, nah, like, put this on. So she hands him a condom, he puts it on, they start getting it on, and before you know it, he tells her to turn around, and then as she's turning around, basically he rips it off and throws it on the ground. Then he reinserts and he continues to do what they were doing. And then we jump over to Kwame and X and the host. So Kwame and the host, Kwame is like trying to a little bit coax, X into playing with him and the host, and X ain't trying to have it. X is like, and also the host don't want it either, because he's just like, I'm not into him, I'm into you. You're the cute one, you're the this, and they both cute or whatever, but he was only interested in Kwame. So him and Kwame kissing, Kwame goes down on him, then him and Kwame start to do, right? And they just got X and no watching, and Kwame, like I said, he tries to coax him in, X ain't having it, and so he's just standing there watching, and he's just not into it, right? So as we hop back over to Bella and Zane, they finish up. Zane walks out. He goes to the restroom. Bella picks up Zane's pants, and she's going to flash him. And she takes a photo of him, and she sends a text to Biagio talking about, you got competition. And Biagio like, man, I ain't worried about the Londoners. And I'm just like, he got a point. I just have a big thing. I'm highly fascinated with Italy and the food, the men, just everything. So I'm just gonna be honest: the food, the men, the culture, the language. I'm very much so into languages, and learning different languages like Spanish and German and Italian. So I love languages and signs. So that's just a big thing for me, and I study them all the time, and I study different cultures and stuff, and so that's big for me. And so I like it. I like Italy. So and I like people from the UK too. I don't want to say that because I've been 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So, anyways, everyone's cute. So, he comes back into the room, and Bella's like, oh, you can actually throw the condom. There's a bin out there. You can throw it there, like, right? We don't want it in our bathroom, just sitting there so everybody can see what was going on. You can take it out to the bin and you can throw it there. He goes, oh, I actually took it off and I threw it on the floor and we were getting it in. And she's like, you're fucking with me. He's like, no, like, I'm serious. Here it is. And he presents Exhibit A. So Bella's now like, what the fuck? Like, now I gotta go get the pill. Like, she's kind of pissed off about it. She tells him, hey, you're gonna have to come with me and you're gonna have to buy the pill because I'm not on anything, but that's why I said we gotta use protection, right? So they head over to the store. As they head over to the store, we jump back over to Kwame and X and the host. So at this point, Kwame and the host is getting on, and X is like, you know what? I'm peace out. This ain't what I signed up for. I thought I was gonna be able to do something with you. You told me to sit here and watch. This is something that I really want to watch, which like I said, I'm confused about why he wanted him to watch. Like, it ain't like the man don't know what to do. Even if he is a virgin to men, it's just like you figure that out with each other. I don't want to figure that out with someone else in the room because now I'm upset that someone else is doing this to you, and that's what I was supposed to be doing, and I'm not cool with that, right? So he peace out. He out of here. Kwame was about to chase after him. The guy's like, nah, you staying here with me. So they finish up, right? As they finish up, Kwame does get up to go and leave, and then the guy slams the door, and Kwame's like, nah, you stay in here, and you get back on the bed. Kwame's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm about to leave. I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. And the guy basically forces himself onto Kwame. He pulls his pants down. I could not tell from how it was filmed whether he puts himself inside of Kwame or it's a dry hump. However, he's on top of Kwame. They're doing the do. And he does whatever he's doing until he comes, and then he gets up and he kind of says, like, you know, he's joking about it, talking about he's a bad boy. Okay, be a bad boy and watch me get up and beat your ass. But anyways, and if I have to call some people because you bigger than me or whatever the case may be, then we'll do that too. However, don't fucking play with me. But anyways, he calls. So look at me. Somebody he calls. No one calls. Well, there is a call that's already made, but I didn't even get to that point yet. So anyways, he finally gets up. He pulls his pants up. Kwame. He runs out of there. The first person that he can think about calling is, which I initially thought he was gonna call the guy to check up on him, but he calls none other than Bella, because Bella has been through this, as they all know, and so he calls Bella, checks in on her, basically like, hey, how are you? And she says she's good. She asks him how he's doing, and, you know, like, are you okay? Because you can kind of hear that he's crying. It seems something to be off. And he's like, no, I'm good. I just want to make sure that you got home safe, whatever the case may be, and that you're good. And she goes, yeah. He goes, okay, well, have a good night. And she says good night, and they hang up, and that's basically it. And I know that moment of, I need to tell somebody. I want to tell but then you keep it in. I'm very familiar with that feeling, and so many people are familiar with that feeling, and that's why people who have been sexually assaulted, you know, when you finally do come out, if you ever do, right? You'll hear sometimes people ask dumb questions and stuff like, oh, why didn't you tell, or why do you say this, why do you say this? When they know the world that we live in, the society that we live in, where oftentimes victims are not believed of things like this, or people will say things along the lines of, why did you wear this? Or like, why did you go over to their place? Or why did you, you know, that, none of that matters. At the end of the day, none of that matters. What I do with myself is what I do with myself. And people can also say, I've heard people say, like, for someone who is sexual, like, for both Kwame and Terry, and like literally all of these characters in this series, they're very much so, they have this sort of autonomy over themselves. They have this freedom with their sexuality. They have this sort of, I'm going to do what I want to do with my body when I want to do it on my terms. But that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're that type of person if someone takes advantage of that. You see what I'm saying? If that's not what you want. Both people have to be in consensus on this is what we're doing. I don't care if 30 seconds ago I say yes and now we're here and I say no. Don't be touching me. Don't touch me. Don't do nothing to me. I said fuck off. I said fuck off. Like, don't do anything to me, right? However, that's not what happened to both of them in this situation. I think even with Bella and Zane, he took advantage of her. To me, that we can, you know, now we can start throwing out words like, you know, rape and molestation and different things like this, because an assault, right? Because no one told you to do all of that shit. If we agreed to this term, which is wear this fucking condom and you take it off, to me, rape. So this show is, I will say this, it's very triggering for people, like I said. For those of us who've been sexually assaulted, for those of us who've gone through something like this, it can be triggering. However, I do think that Michaela Cole, because I do know that this was something, the storyline of Bella in this series is something that personally happened to her, is what I'm getting from what I've kind of seen and been hearing talks of and stuff like this. And so she's sort of sharing what, yeah, okay, yep, that's enough for me. I don't know. I'm starting to see what I'm saying. It does that. It does that. It does that. But I will continue to watch this series just because I support any and everything that Michaela Cole does. I think she's a strong voice for new people coming up in the industry. She's someone that I definitely would love to work with. I think she's a fantastic actress. She's a beautiful writer, right? An amazing writer, and she's someone that for a while now I've been saying that I would love to work with. But anyways, I'm gonna go because I'm feeling some type of way. My emotions getting in the way of this video, and we don't got time to be doing all of that right now. So I am going to go, but I thank you guys for tuning in. And again, if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Comments. I'm gonna have some questions down in the bar below, the drop down bar. So if you would like to, you can help me answer some of those questions, get some engagement on my channel, right? I do respond to everyone because like I'm a very small channel, so I respond to literally everyone. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let me know what your thoughts are about this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.